Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at this 10-11/9 game slate. It's an 11-game slate, but there's going to be two postponements here. The New York Mets game is already postponed, so it's down to 10. And then this Philadelphia-Washington game, it's going to be the remnants of that hurricane. So this one's not going to be playing at all. I'm kind of shocked that they haven't postponed it already, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. So, but I'm not going to really pay attention to this game at all just because I just don't see the way that they play. Right up at the top, we have a lot of solid pitching options. Scherzer, Sale, Rodon, and Cole. Like, that is an elite group of pitchers. So it's kind of on us to kind of separate who we think is in a better spot. Scherzer, I'd say he's either one or number two of these four. His price tag is getting pretty high up there, 10.9K. He's got a somewhat tough matchup going up against Atlanta, but still, he is Scherzer. We know what he can do. His strikeout is ceiling is just through the roof. He doesn't allow many runs. He can't, like, his one thing against him was the home run ball. I mean, you can pretty much see it's like you go through. When he allows runs, it pretty much correlates to a home like. When he allows runs, it's because he's allowing home runs. He's not going to be allowing like a double and two singles and another double and just letting something like that happen. Like, guy gets on base, home run, boom, 2 earned runs. That's his damage for the entire day. But still, Scherzer, his price is getting up there a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to fit him in, and that's why I'm not going to say he's like the absolute number one. Because I think Garrett Cole, 1,000 cheaper, 1,000 can go a long way with your bets. But so Garrett Cole, 1,000 cheaper. His past 3 games have been incredible. Same thing as Scherzer. Like, his strikeout rate is right there with Scherzer. He can throw out the double-digit plus K rate. The Angels, they can strike out. And they haven't shown any limits on his pitch count at all either. He's still 100 plus pitches every single time. They want him to go deep into the games. They're really chasing for the playoffs. So Cole, 1 earned run in his past 3 starts, 9,900. I think that is a great play. So I think you're going to be debating Scherzer or Cole. Which one do you want? I mean, if you can fit in both, awesome. But those are pretty much your top 2. And then Sale and Rodon, I have a little bit of concern about them. I would go Sale over Rodon. So Sale would be my number 3 option, and it's strictly because of the pitch count. He's been back from injury for 3 games. He hasn't seen 90 pitches yet. So it is slightly concerning. Granted, I mean, 12-2, 16-2, and 6-7. They haven't really needed him to go super deep into games. Now they're playing a much better team, a crucial team in this playoff chase. So maybe they have Sale go longer here. I'm not 100% sure. There's no way for me to really know unless somebody comes out and says it from the Boston team. But still, I think Sale I'd list under Scherzer and Cole in terms of cash, at least. GPP, let it ride. And then Rodon, he'd probably be my least favorite of the 4. And again, it comes down to pitch count. Just, he's not going 90 pitches. He's barely going 80 pitches. Then he went 67 his last time out. It's not that he's like pitching terribly, but it comes down, like, just reading through the analysis, he's already like pitching like a career high in innings. He never goes this deep, and they're pretty much guaranteed a lock for the playoffs at this point. They don't need him to absolutely just like tear up his arm. They're fine. Let him go 70, 80 pitches and let it be. So he's in a great matchup, but still 10.1K on a guy who might only get like 70 pitches. I'm kind of down on him. I'm not fading him by any means, but I'm down on him. Nola, I'm not touching this game. Like I said, I think it's going to be a close one. Fried, he's a fade for me. Just way too high priced. If you're going to be paying up for Fried, you might as well just find the extra 1,000 and then go up to one of these guys here. Or you can go down to Gossman, who, 8,700 for Gossman. I think that is a beautiful price. You can kind of see he's been priced way up here. He did get the decrease because his form hasn't been the greatest. But he is going up against Milwaukee. We know from early on in the season they can strike out quite a bit. And Gossman, he can't have his strikeout stuff. He's not anywhere near the elite guys, but he can be close to 30% strikeout pitcher. So I definitely have some interest here in Gossman if you don't want to go all the way up. Same with Caprillion. Nice matchup against Detroit. Really not much else to say about that. I think he's a fine play. Mats against Baltimore. Sure, I'm just kind of like shrug the shoulders at that. Nothing too exciting, but it's not a fade by any means. Anderson, he doesn't strike out anybody, so I'll pass on him. Same with Rasmussen going up against Boston. No, thank you. Postponed game. No, Kranick against the White Sox, not a chance. And then you can kind of see like there's not much value to be had down here. It is pretty gross in terms of value. I think there's only one pitcher that I'm like kind of interested in below 8.5 in Caprillion here. And I mean, okay, Harvey, YOLO play. I mean, he's been pretty good lately. And Toronto has let us down 2 times in a row. They've been chalked 2 nights. Let's see, night number 3 is the night. But still, Harvey, yeah. Joe Ryan, this is the guy I want to talk to. 5,000 going up against the Cubs. We know that this Cubs team is not good anymore. Their offense has been coming alive a little bit lately, but still, they are a bad team. They are a bad offense. Joe Ryan, he is an elite prospect. He's one of the top pitching prospects. His in the minors this season, he's got like a 36% strikeout rate. He doesn't walk anybody. Now he's going up against this Cubs team. Minnesota's a big favorite on the slate here too. So I don't know how deep into games he's going to be going, but I still have quite a bit of interest in Ryan. He can really, really open up your salary to get a guy like Scherzer or get a guy like Cole and still stack a team like the Blue Jays and like all their elite bats in there. So he can really open things up with your salary. So I do have interest here in Joe Ryan, but he's really like the only guy below Caprillion or Mats that I have any interest in. It's pretty disgusting down here in this range. Logan Allen, maybe Logan Allen, but no, not too much. So yeah, I'm going to be pretty much sticking near the top. So Scherzer, Cole, Sale, Rondon, and then Gossman, Caprillion, and Ryan. That's pretty much going to be my pitcher pool for the most part. So turning towards the bats, it's a day that ends in Y, and Toronto's facing Baltimore again. So Toronto, number 1 stack on the slate. They've let us down 2 nights in a row. Maybe this is the night that it finally busts out. But still, Toronto, you guys know the plays by now and who's going to be popular there. Chicago White Sox. I feel like with these series games, like we just kind of keep repeating ourselves. It's pretty much the case. It's been Toronto for the past 2 nights. It's been the White Sox the past 2 nights. So White Sox definitely have some interest in them. They're not too pricey, all things considered. Grandal 5.5 hit a home run last night. That was beautiful. Abreu had a home run as well last night. But they do have some nice values down here in the low 4K and 3K range. Guys like Goodwin, Robert, however you want to say it, 4.4. He's great play, top prospect. Love playing him as well. So Andrew Vaughn, 2.7. He's still always too cheap, in my opinion. So I love the White Sox bats here. But favorite team on the slate, point per dollar wise. If you're part of our Discord, you know this by now. I love Minnesota as an offense just because they're always so cheap. But Polanco, 4.3K. He's been hitting lights out. He is fantastic. Buxton, 3.4K. Just keep putting him into your cash lines. Like it's too cheap for a guy of his talent. Now he's going up against the Cubs pitching staff. So Buxton, 3.4, still too cheap. Arias, you ever have those players that you just always seem to have them in your lineup? They always seem to do well for you. Arias is that guy for me. I love Arias. He's more than likely going to be in many of my builds tonight just because I think Minnesota's in a great spot going up against Steele, and he's cheap and could be leading off. So Arias, I think he's in a great spot, but still, Donaldson at 4K. He's just way too cheap. Sano, he hits slot fly balls. He can hit one out of the park. He's too cheap as well. The only issue that I have with Minnesota as like a large stack, and it just happened a couple days ago. They took away the second base eligibility for Arias, so him and Donaldson, you can't jam into your lineups, so you're gonna have to choose between one of them. In this slate tonight, I might be going with Donaldson, or probably will be going with Donaldson. He's not too much more expensive, and he's got that righty lefty. I think he's more than likely going to hit a bomb over Arias. So Minnesota, I think, is a great stack as well. And then just kind of like going based on like implied run totals and who I think like the industry is going to be on. New York Yankees, they got high implied run total. I could see them being kind of chalky, just with Rizzo being super cheap. Even Gallo, 4.6K, he's not too expensive. Stanton at 4.8. There's a lot of value to be found. He's going to be catching tonight. We got Cole pitching, so Higa's going to be catching 2.9K. You can do much worse. You can do much worse at catcher. So Yankees, I think, are a very interesting play. Oakland, I think Oakland can make for a great GPP stack. I don't think people just don't really ever play Oakland. They always seem to be a low-owned team, but they're in a great spot going up against Willie Peralta. So, I mean, Marte is just an absolute stud. Olsen, he's got the platoon splits, lefty-righty, even though he does hit lefties better. But still, Harrison, Gomes, Lowry, these guys, I love their price range. So Oakland could be one of my favorite GPP stacks on the day. And that pretty much covers the majority of it. San Francisco, Cleveland, and KC, two teams. I don't like either pitcher in this game. Bats are pretty cheap for the most part. Get out of Ramirez and Perez and Reyes in Merrifield. And then boom, 200 guys, and you're down to 3.5K for your remaining, 14 bats that I didn't list there. So I see this game having quite a few runs. I don't like either pitcher, and if you need some value, that's probably a place where you would like to turn to. So that kind of covers everything. So just to recap the bats: Toronto, Chicago White Sox, Minnesota are my favorite three. And then like other high implied run totals, popular plays, I think, would be the Yankees, Oakland, or Oakland's my favorite GPP, I think. But like Boston, San Francisco, your usuals. And that's for some cheap plays, you could go with Cleveland, Kansas City, even Baltimore, going up against Mats. Mats doesn't scare me at all. So Mats or Baltimore could be cheap as well. So as always, thumbs up, subscribe, hit that comment. Really does help us out with the algorithm. And allowing us to provide all this free content for you guys. So as always, good luck in your contest, and we will see you in the next video.